How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is currently running its games under $15 sale, as well as the extended play sale. We've already taken a look at games under the price of $5. Now, gonna expand the budget a little bit more and look at games under the price of $10. We got 10 games to go over, so let's get right into it. We will be mentioning some PS Plus titles that are available in Extra and Premium, but I'll give you guys a heads up when we get to those. Alright, first up, one of the games in Plus Premium, Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection, is down to $9.99. Now, this is one of those weird ones where it's a collection of remasters, so I guess Sony's like, oh, we can finagle this into the Premium program. Nonetheless, 50% off for $9.99 will get you Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. Would have been nice if Golden Abyss was in there as well, but maybe that's asking a little bit too much. Nonetheless, Uncharted 1 absolutely shows its age. We got like a Mass Effect situation going on here, where Mass Effect 1 came out in 2007, as did Uncharted 1, and those games really do show their age. But then when you get into the follow-up title, Uncharted 2, is still a fantastic game. Does it show its age here and there? Yeah, but Uncharted 2 is such a significant improvement over Uncharted 1. The pacing is better, the visuals are better. I thought narratively it was a stronger game. Uncharted 2 is just a really, really well-made game, so strong recommendation to at least play that. And Uncharted 3 is very good as well. If you want to skip Uncharted 1, you can, but I would still say play it. It's still a pretty solid game. It's just that Uncharted 2 and 3 are definitely the stronger games. Then, of course, you can check out Uncharted 4. Next up, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which is down 50% off to $9.99. I think for many people, Resident Evil 7 was the game that got Resident Evil back on track, and it did a really good job of doing so. It really brought back the more eerie and horror atmosphere vibe that Resident Evil had been lacking a little bit. Not to slight Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 4, they still had those elements. Resident Evil 6 was not that great, but Resident Evil 7, I thought, atmospherically did a really good job. I thought the soundtrack was great, and of course, narratively, it has parlayed really well into subsequent titles, so RE7 for $9.99, I think that's a great buy. And if you do have a VR headset, this is one of the low-key bangers with a VR headset. I mean, for some people, I don't know, they can't handle it. I had a friend try it out and they just couldn't handle it. Got a little too scared. They're not much of a gamer, but nonetheless, RE7 still a good time, and $9.99 I think is a good buy. Speaking of Resident Evil, I also want to give a shout to Resident Evil Revelations, which is 60% off for $8. This is one of the forgotten Resident Evil games in the entire franchise. Initially came out on the 3DS, and then got ported to pretty much every other platform. Resident Evil Revelations was actually a pretty solid game. You have to keep your expectations in line from a technical standpoint, but it still looks fairly good. Like, it was one of the better looking 3DS games that came out on that platform, and it looks good even on PS4. I would say for $8, if you just want more Resident Evil, this is not a bad buy at all. Not a super lengthy game, of course, but not a bad pickup. If you want to check out Revelations 2 as well, there is a bundle with both Revelations 1 and 2 for $16, if that is something you'd be interested in. Next up, we have Infamous Second Son, which is 50% off for $9.99. This is a part of PlayStation Plus Extra, so you can check it out that way. Infamous Second Son is a game that I often talk about, and I talk pretty highly of it, even though I don't think it's quite as strong as Infamous 1, maybe on par with Infamous 2, now looking back on it. I wasn't as high on Infamous 2 as I was Infamous 1, still a pretty good game, but Second Son introduces a brand new character in Delsin. I don't think Delsin was as good of a character as Cole, but he still had some interesting character arcs and threads. Second Son is not a super lengthy game. You guys should know that going into it. Like, if you are just doing one karmatic playthrough, you can beat it fairly quickly. Yeah, there's a bunch of additional content, and definitely I would recommend you to go through it twice. But yeah, there's quite a bit of content. As far as open world games go, it's not the biggest open world ever, but there's a sizable amount of things to do. And visually, it looks really good. Even being north of 8 years old, almost 9 years old at this point, still looks pretty solid for $9.99. I think it's a good buy. And of course, you can play Second Son without having to play the other two games. And also, Infamous Second Son, there is that free DLC available now, the Cole's Legacy DLC, so definitely jump on that as well if you are picking up the game. Next up, we have Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is 85% off for $9. Big Dragon Ball fan, getting more and more back into Dragon Ball. Just watched Super Superhero when that dropped. I went to theaters for that, and I don't go to theaters that often these days, but that movie was okay, but DB FighterZ, back to the game itself, is a really solid technical fighting game. It's not like, you know, your Xenoverses or Tenkaichis or Budokais. This very much a fighting game. that is in the Arc System games tradition, in the sense that there are those nuances to it. There is a little bit of a learning curve attached to it, but at the same time, if you're just a fan of Dragon Ball, the game is so slick in presentation, so stylish, that if you want to play it casually, if you just want to invite a couple friends over and have a good time with it, you can do that as well. Now, the game does have a sizable amount of DLC. The story mode isn't anything to write home about for sure, but you know, that's kind of the story with fighting games these days. They're gonna have a lot of DLC. So if you do want to wait for the Ultimate Edition to go on sale, that might be a good idea. Obviously, don't be picking up the Ultimate Edition at full price as it is right now. $110 is a big yikes from me. But yeah, maybe down the line on sale if you want more than just the base game. But $9 for the base game, I think, is a good buy. Next up, we have WipEout the Omega Collection, which is down to $8. Now, this is actually not available for purchase online. I use the PlayStation Store desktop browser to do these videos, but apparently it's just a bug. If you go on your PlayStation 4, you should be able to buy WipEout Omega Collection, no problem, on your PS5 as well. Obviously, this includes the content from WipEout HD, WipEout HD Fury, and then WipEout 2048, all enhanced for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. This also has a PSVR component to it if you do have a VR headset. Another one of those games that is one of the stronger VR experiences you can come across. Just an awesome futuristic arcade racer. WipEout is a franchise that does not get the love that it deserves, and I know, you know, as far as racing games from Sony, Gran Turismo is the sim racer that everybody's always going to talk about, but WipEout is a lot of fun as well. Great soundtrack, great gameplay, just a fast-paced racer here, and for $8, you get a lot of content for your money. Would strongly recommend it. Alright, next up, we got Valkyria Chronicles 4, 70% off for $9. Another one of those games that I often talk very highly about. Now, if you haven't played Valkyria Chronicles 1, they do have the Valkyria Chronicles Remaster and Valkyria Chronicles 4 bundle for $12. You can check that out. You're paying $3 more, and you're getting VC1 as well. The Complete Edition, that includes the DLC for Valkyria Chronicles 4, is not on sale, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but the base game is fine. These games are really strong narratively, and if you're just into tactics games, I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. You don't even have to be a super JRPG fan, because this game breaks a lot of the norms from JRPGs in terms of how the story plays out, in terms of how you progress through the game through the utilization of the storybook. The art style is fantastic. It's a war story. I think anybody can really get into it. There is a demo available, so maybe check out the demo if you're not completely sold on it, but I love Valkyria Chronicles 4. I loved Valkyria Chronicles 1. They're just great games, and narratively, again, they're very, very strong. Would give this a recommendation. Definitely give it a look. Alright, next up, we got Dishonored Definitive Edition, 70% off for $6. Another one of those franchises I talk very highly about, and hopefully Arcane still does some stuff with Dishonored, because I think it's an IP with a lot of legs to it. Dishonored 1 was a great game, and it's a game that, yes, while it did come out back in, I want to say November, December of 2012, it's been a long time, artistically and stylistically, it still holds up really well just because it employed this great visual style that, in my opinion, still looks solid. Like, it's not blow away technically, but I think it's a clean looking game that holds up well. Obviously, there's a lot of variety in the gameplay and how you tackle the game. You can go the more silent and stealthy approach. You can go guns, or I should say swords blazing, or whatever you want to call it. You can go action heavy. I find it that going the silent approach is a little bit more rewarding, and, you know, there are some different things in the game as far as endings and whatnot, but still $6 for Dishonored. I think it's a great deal, and the Definitive Edition includes the DLC as well, so definitely worthwhile to check it out, especially at this price point. Moving on from that, do want to give a shout out to Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. Now, this is 80% off for $9.99. This includes Storm 4 and the expansion, the Boruto expansion. Now, if you do want to pick up Storm 1, 2, and 3, they have the Legacy Collection on sale for $14. So if you want the first 3 games as well, $4 more sounds like a pretty decent trade-off to get all 3 of those games. However, if you just want a quality arena brawler, arena fighter to play with your friends, and you don't care about the first 3 games, Storm 4, you know, is the most developed game, and I think most people would consider it to be the best. Gigantic roster of characters, and yeah, it's Naruto, you know? Naruto's a classic, and you've got a lot of different iterations, generations of those characters as well, and enjoyable campaign mode, story mode, a little bit different than Storm 2 and 3, which is a little bit of a bummer. They do have that open world style of game mode as well. done a little bit differently, but $9.99 for this I think is a good buy, especially if, again, you want to invite a couple friends over, you guys want to play, and just have a good time, you know, trading controllers. It's only 2 players, but nonetheless, you guys get the idea. Enjoyable game, but yeah, if you do want the first 3 games, check out the Legacy Collection instead. Lastly, I do want to note the Talos Principle Deluxe Edition is down to $6 for Plus subscribers, $9 for non-Plus subscribers, so fits the budget either way. A philosophical puzzle game with a very, very slick visual style here as well, and it's more of a sci-fi puzzler. You know, I'm not a big fan of puzzle games, but I thought Talos Principle had some very well-made puzzles, and if you're a fan of puzzle games, and if you like the aesthetic look and, you know, more of the style of this game, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game even more than I enjoyed it, just because I'm inherently, like, pushed away by puzzle games, but I even enjoyed this game, and I think a lot of you guys will dig it as well. One of those games that goes under the radar a lot at this stage, given that it came out all the way back in, I want to say 2013, 2014, so it's been quite a while, but $6 for it, I think that's a good buy, and I would check it out. Again, a sleeper hit there. That's going to do it for me. Again, a lot of deals available right now. I didn't mention it, but WipEout Omega Collection, that's also available through Plus Premium, so you can play it that way. That's the top tier subscription service, so bear that in mind. But links to everything in the description box as always, and thank you for watching. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.